traumatic to a community when disproportionately there is an absence of men in the community because so many of them are serving such long sentences. You know, and having a parent that's in prison, you don't have your mom supporting you through life, or you don't have your dad encouraging you in ways that are necessary to develop. They're also wearing the burdens of their parents' crime. They didn't commit a crime.
My mother was incarcerated when I was younger. I was a baby, and I went into foster care.
I was in my mom's belly when he went to jail. When my dad gets out, I'll be 15.
My dad is so far.
They gave my dad 20 years, and that's a long time.
A growing number of American prisons are now contracted out as for-profit businesses to for-profit companies. The companies are paid by the state, and their profit depends on spending as little as possible on the prisoners and the prisons.
The reason why we like the private prison industry from a stock investment perspective, we think that there's substantial opportunity for growth. In 2004, there was about 6% market share. 2014, 8.3%. Over the past 10 years, they gained about 35%. It's an interesting and compelling investment opportunity for a lot of investors today.
The book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 13. The Bible reads, "You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men." God has sent his salt to preserve the earth. Things are getting crazy. Sometimes I wonder how to keep the blessed kids from going under. We got the virus wreaking havoc on the blacks and on the red and brown man, that is whack. They tell us COVID did it, but is that a fact? I remember years ago they used crack, declared war against drugs on the backs of the blessed kids who had their dads jacked. Mass incarceration, sleeping on a rack. Slavery still putting brothers on their backs. That old new Jim Crow is the show. Invisible arm knocking at the front door. With the unseen hand embodied in the clan. Brothers screaming for their life, I'm a man. Give it to Jesus cause he has the master's plan. Steps, order, path laid with his hand. Same game, different strokes, blow for blow. Private prisons on the rise, we need more. Violator, mass law, death row. Give me your son, your land, boy, we got to go. The cost of free labor's up, don't you know? But maybe you don't because I'm the first. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. 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 Before he sent me, they had to kill him first. I don't know what's going on these days. We got the vid, we got the AIDS, we call them plagues. We got babies waking up, not fade. But we wanna blame the vid and not the feds. Instead we lean on Jesus cause he's not dead. We raise our hands to the sky so blessed. The invisible arm trying to kill the kingdom. We stand as one toe to toe trying to free them. Free them from the hand of the unseen. Jim Crow, Willie Lynch and Massa Green. Fear is the way we keep them all straight. Invoke a law and watch them self-castrate. Don't even bother trying to teach them the code. Many were killed trying to break the mold. So we kick back instead of fight back. But even God came in 3 and took it right back. What you gonna do? Hide in the pew? Or will you stand, raise your voice and stir the gift in you? It's for the kids that I preach this word. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. 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 Before he sent me, he had to kill him first. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. Before he sent me, he had to kill him first. The future's here of one man is on the set. Sprinkle me, don't let the salt get wet. Bringing the truth with all power in my hand. Making a stand because my future's on demand. I must stay woke to honor those who came before. Those who sang the hymn, started war no more. My path of truth was sealed from my blessed birth. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. 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 Before he sent me, he had to kill him first. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. Before he sent me, he had to kill him first. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. Before he sent me, he had to kill him first. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. He sent the salt to preserve the earth. Before he sent me, he had to kill him first.
You know, and having a parent that's in prison, you don't have your mom supporting you through life, or you don't have your dad encouraging you in ways that are necessary to develop. They're also wearing the burdens of their parents' crime. They didn't commit a crime.
My mother was incarcerated when I was younger. I was a baby, and I went into foster care.
I was in my mom's belly when he went to jail. When my dad gets out, I'll be 15.
My dad is so far.
They gave my dad 20 years.